Welcome, everyone. I'm Scott DeRue, and joining me today is Robin Sellers, our Health Plan Survey subject matter expert here at Fringe Benefit Analyst. Today, we'll be covering some interesting facts and trends in the health insurance industry from the nation's largest health plan survey, which is conducted by United Benefit Advisors. United Benefit Advisors is a partnership of over 150 premier employee benefit firms in the United States, Canada, and Europe. FBA is privileged to be a partner for over 16 years with UBA. UBA allows us to co-op, negotiate prices and features on products, tools, and services, pool our resources, and share expertise among our peers. For you, our valued clients, gives you a national buying power with a local touch. Next slide. On our minds, obviously, is COVID-19. It's affected all our businesses and all our lives personally. We know that budgets have been slashed and benefits are even more important to employees now than they may have been in the past. And so because of that, you want to make sure you're offering the most competitive benefits at the best price. And so this is a tool that allows you to do that. We've noticed that as employees are furloughed or laid off, that they pay their premiums. This is very, very important to them, health insurance is. We've also noticed a trend of life insurance and long-term disability either being increased or added to employers' plans. There are many national statistics available for comparison, and that's what we're going to be covering most today. Just for comparative purposes, we will be covering some Utah statistics, realizing that many of you have businesses that are out of the state of Utah or have divisions or subsidiaries outside the Utah. And if you reach out to your FBA broker or account executive, they can provide you with the details in that state. For employers interested in making the most informed decisions on their health care, it's crucial to compare your plan costs and not just national benchmarks. And so you can actually get an individualized report from this survey, which will compare your exact benefits to those in your industry, state, region, and nationally. This survey has been going since 2005. We've been a part of it from the beginning. So that's over 15 years now. This year's survey includes over 22,000 plans and covers nearly 1.4 million employees. It's 3 times larger than the next 2 surveys out in the market. And we're privileged to be a part of that and an exclusive part of that here in Utah. So in addition to the executive summary on the health plan survey that can be provided to you, we can also give you a trends by group and industry size and trends among employers within your specific state.
We've shown you the national, regional, and statewide reports that are available. We can also produce group-specific reports. They are available in a variety of different formats. On page 7 of the national survey, we actually are discussing our number one question that we get from employers: what kind of renewal can we expect? Here are some national trends to help you. Nationally, the renewal increases have remained low. For a second year in a row, the overall increases are more manageable, around 5%. We can use the health plan survey to help employers decide what changes to make on their plan to remain in budget, as seen here at a final 2.4% renewal increase on average. Regional costs can often vary. There's a significant difference that exists between the cost to insure an employee in the Northeast, since they typically have lower deductibles, contain more state mandates, and feature higher in-network coinsurance, among other factors. The West region, which includes Utah, have increases that are generally steady over the last 2 years. Mountain states, Hawaii, California, and Alaska are all in our region. Some of these states can have higher increases than Utah. We can slice this information up in a different way if you'd like to see it.
Another common question we receive is how much should we contribute? This particular slide shows the employee contribution, which nationally is about 32% and is down from about 32.7 over last year, and about 31.2 in 2018. Many experts expect employers to contribute further and further away from the typical 70-30% cost split. But that trend has slowed the last few years. Nevertheless, it's a metrics we want to watch, especially within the different industries. Government employers pass on the least cost of their employees, thus offering the richest plans, who only contribute about 23.4% on average towards the cost. The construction and transportation industries pass on most of the cost of the employees, who pick up 36.4% of the tab. Again, your individualized report will show you the details on your plan versus your peers in the industry. Next slide. For comparative purposes, and again, if you're in a different state, you can receive these slides for your state. But in Utah, there's approximately 16% of the plans that require no employer contribution. And among those that do require contributions, employers typically pick up about 62% of the cost, while single employees pick up about 38%. And that's a little bit higher than the 68-32% split found nationally. For the construction industry here in Utah, we can see that employees pick up a higher percentage of the cost at about 45%, and employers picking up 55%. There are, however, more plans on average with a $0 employee contribution. So let us know if you want to see other industries in other states. For information purposes, we want to explain briefly what each of those acronyms mean. Our business is full of acronyms, and so PPO, if you see on the slide up there, is a preferred provider organization. A POS is a point of service plan. And those plans typically have a network of doctors, and you decide when you go in for service, which doctor or provider you're going to choose. The middle column there, you'll see an HSA, which is a health savings account, which is coupled with a high deductible health plan, a qualified high deductible health plan, according to the federal rules. And those are typically $1,500 deductibles and above. On the left of each of those slides, you'll see HMO and EPO. HMO is a health maintenance organization, and EPO is an exclusive provider organization. In the past, HMO meant you picked a doctor and went to that primary care physician. Over the years, that's homogenized and is no longer the case. In fact, in most states, especially in Utah, each of these plans look very, very much the same. And unless you go to the state insurance filings, you can't tell the difference. An EPO is an exclusive provider organization, and you'll see a lot of carriers offering a narrow network, and it's cheaper because those doctors and facilities are providing bigger discounts.
On page 12 of the national survey, we refer to deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums as well as plan designs. Do you want to make sure that you are offering the most competitive plans? When you're attracting and retaining employees, this can be very important. Here we see the national deductible and out-of-pocket average. In 2020, the average deductibles for in-network have remained flat, around $2,000 for single, comparing to 2019. The out-of-pocket maximums have increased. For example, families on PPO networks face an average $12,000 in-network out-of-pocket maximum, up from $11,300 last year. Drilling down further into Utah, the average deductible is lower than the national average. One of the top industries in Utah, the professional, scientific, and technological services, have the lowest average deductible. Often the industry is competing for top talent. Our lower deductibles add cost in the plans. Deductibles in Utah have increased more slowly, again, due to our tight labor market and paternalistic employer relationship. Here in Utah, we try to treat our employees well. Do you need to have this information sliced up in a different way? Just let us know.
The next topic we're going to cover are prescription drug plans. For those that saw our presentation last year, you know that I'm very, very passionate about this. Prescription drug costs are literally out of control. The pharma companies are developing specialty drugs and biologics that are not $30 a month per prescription. They're $50,000 and going up to $1.5 million or more per year. So it's really, really out of control. The plans, what this slide shows is the plans by tiers. So one tier means that you would pay one copay no matter what drug you have. And that's about 1.3% of the plans. More typical, you see these other tiers. A 3-tier is going to be a generic drug preferred, a name brand drug preferred, and then specialty drug. And then they split the tiers up beyond that. And more typically, we're seeing more plans going to the 5 and 6 tiers. But several years ago, as we reported, it was not uncommon to see prescription drug costs 11-12% of your overall spend in your health plan. And typically today, it's running about 25 to 27%. So look for a lot of new programs to be coming out trying to control costs and help control these costs. But your health plan survey, the detail you receive individually will show that those tiers and how you compare to your peers in your industry. But it's more important to keep an eye on these costs as we're trying to control overall spend in our health plans. From the national survey, we can see a trend in self-funding. Self-funding is a plan under ERISA, the Employer Retirement and Income Security Act, that allows a little bit more flexibility in your plan design. These little circles here you're seeing are how many plans are fully insured, meaning you go to an insurance company, they take all the risks, they give you a price. Self-funding, again, allows some more interesting funding options. And what we're seeing, if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, the dark blue circle, fully insured, going to an insurance company, these are employers with more than 500 employees, has gone from 37% and has dropped down to 34%. So that means 66% of the groups, large employers, are going self-funding. As you move to the circle on the left, that's employers mid-size, 100 to 499 is defined here. And 75% used to be fully insured. That's dropped down to 69%. So there again, a trend moving away from fully insured to self-funded. And in the top right corner in the gray circle, you're seeing small employers. This is 25 to 99 have moved from 7% being self-funded up to 18% being self-funded. So that's quite a different trend. And what's driving that is we have under the self-funding umbrella something called level funding, which helps level those premiums and level the risk for smaller employers. We won't take time in this presentation to discuss that, but wanted to make sure that you are aware that there is a trend in that direction. And you can talk to your broker or account executive more about self and level funding.
High deductible health plans can be a great way for employees that are healthy to save money from their paychecks. When paired with a health savings account, employees can also reduce their taxable income while saving for their future medical expenses. Nationally, we see an increase in employees electing to contribute to health savings accounts, and their employers are also increasing their portion of contributions to HSAs. Only 7.3% of plans offer health reimbursement arrangements. The average HRA reimbursement for singles increased from $2,000 in 2019 to over $2,500 in 2020. Also, it's important to know that adding a wellness plan can actually help keep your employees engaged. Also, for large groups, it may help decrease your claim spending, therefore lowering your renewal rates. If you are on a level or self-funded plan, we highly recommend having a wellness plan to help decrease your costs. Wellness programs are most prevalent among large groups, Northeast employers, and government education employers. Some of the most common features are a health risk assessment, which is a questionnaire that employees and members complete to get a quick look at their wellness, incentives, and physical exams.
So as we compare the top plans across the country, and again, for this presentation in Utah, You can see there's several trends going on. First of all, the most popular plans by far are the preferred provider organizations and point of service plans. And just like the rest of the nation, those are the most popular plans. They're the largest network with fewest restrictions. However, if we compare year over year data, health savings accounts are increasing dramatically here in Utah. It wasn't just a few years ago. We were about 7%, I believe about 3 years ago. And the HMOs and EPOs are a small slice of that, but not as big as it used to be.
Despite their popularity, PPO and POS plans, which are larger networks here in Utah, are more expensive than the national and regional averages. HSA, HMO, and EPO, which are the smaller networks, plans here in the state are in line with national and regional averages. We're just giving Utah as an example here. Your broker or account executive can give you more information on any other states.
So we'd like to thank you for participating with us today. Again, we've covered some very high-level aggregate data. As Robin mentioned, the specific data can be provided to you, tailored and detailed report. The beauty is we have some brand new software running this survey, and so we can get very, very granular with you on the specifics that you'd like to see. It's great to have peers across the country entering data on all their plans. It's hundreds of millions of bits of data, and to be able to aggregate this and present it in a meaningful way is very, very helpful. And as we overcome COVID and the labor market starts to heat back up, and we're trying to compete for employees, it's important to know how you compare with your benefits and your contributions as an employer. So we encourage you to contact us, and we'll give you a customized report. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.